Hello and welcome to a very relaxed and sunny Chamonix. It's the 20th of October. All the colours are out, there's not too many people around, and it's so nice to be able to sit out at the end of October and still be in shirt sleeves. It's one of the best things about living in France. Now the other thing about this time of year is the mountain conditions, and if you look up at Mont Blanc up there, you can see that with that bit of snow, you see that triangular face just at the end there. That's an indication of what the snow is like round the corner in the Grand Couloir, which is what gave us so many problems this summer. And there's a nice bit of snow on there, which means that the Grand Couloir is almost certainly in really good climbable condition. The rest of the mountain's great, there's no wind. So why are we down here and not up there? Well, the simple reason is, unfortunately, the huts are still shut. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine. I've been trying for a lot of years to get them to stay open longer. Hopefully, we've got a great guardian up there now. Hopefully, maybe things will change in the future, but I better not get started on that one or I'll be here all afternoon. So the season started pretty well on the whole. We had reasonable conditions, unbroken sunshine, but the first thing you may have seen on the news was we had a new crevasse, which looked like that. And if you look at this picture, you can see that we've got that big hole in the middle that didn't used to be there a couple of years ago. And it doesn't mean much in itself, but it meant that we had to go round the outside of it in order to get to the summit ridges. The problem with that was we had a very, very, very dry winter this year with almost no snow. It was really, I haven't seen anything like it in 30 years. And it meant that the top ridges were icier than I'd ever seen them. And that, coupled with the detour we had to do, meant that the ground up there was, for a few weeks at least, until the new snow arrived, a lot more technical than it normally is. We still got people to the summit, but we had to be pretty draconian and pretty harsh on who we would allow to attempt the summit, unfortunately. It's just the way things were, but it was only really the very strongest, and the sort of level, if you like, to attempt Mont Blanc was higher than it normally was. And then the heatwave hit. So this is the second reason you may have seen Mont Blanc in the news this summer, is because of the heatwave that hit the Alps, and it really came into force from about the start of July right through to almost the end of August. And from about the first week of July, temperatures were somewhere between 35 and 38 degrees fairly consistently. Well, we bashed on as well we could for a couple of weeks, but the Grand Couloir, this famous stone gully, was getting drier and drier. And the problem is that when it gets really dry, you start to get a lot of rock fall, and we had to basically call it quits after around the middle of July. So when I say call it quits, I don't mean that we just sort of abandon everyone. We had a plan B. We kind of imagined this might be the case this year, so we started moving everyone down to Monte Rosa. Now, this is Monte Rosa. We've got a video about this. It's an absolutely fantastic peak. It's a beautiful high plateau. It's got half a dozen summits over 4,000 meters. So if you're strong, you can get 3, 4, or even, I think some of our groups managed to pick off 5 4,000 meter summits. So it was a pretty good consolation prize, along with our training peak Gran Paradiso, which is the highest mountain in Italy. So that situation continued until around the end of August. And during this period, the second incident happened which put Mont Blanc back in the news, and that was the mayor of Saint-Gervais, and he seemed to get rather angry about the fact that people were still going up Mont Blanc even though he had issued formal advice that it was a bad idea. Of course, the mountain is never closed, as you read in the press, it's just strongly advised against, but he didn't seem to take it very kindly that people were still going up. And this was the famous 15,000 euros to climb Mont Blanc. So if you're in any doubt about this, this was just, I think, the mayor giving rise to his frustrations. This was never likely to happen. It's certainly never likely to be reality. But we have had a few inquiries like, do I need to pay 15,000 euros to climb Mont Blanc? And the answer is, no, you don't. So that was it. That was our 2022 season. It wasn't the easiest of seasons, but I think we got a lot done actually compared to other seasons. In summary, we had a difficult start, icy conditions on the ridge. Is that going to happen again? Very unlikely, I think. It was a combination of the winter and the heat wave, and I think it's very unlikely to happen again. Then we had the heat wave, which we dealt with by moving to Monte Rosa, and then we had the mayor making announcements about 15,000 euros, which seemed to confuse a lot of people, including us. And then we finished the season on a bit of a high note. So all in all, a pretty good year. But whatever happens, if you do come with us, it's really hard to know when is the best time of year. You know, August was our worst month this year by considerable margin. Last year, August was the month we got most people to the summit. So really, every year is different. It's impossible to know in advance which month is going to be the good one or the bad one. You just got to pay your money and take your choice. But what we will guarantee is that if we can't get up Mont Blanc, obviously we'll go up Mont Blanc if it's humanly possible, but if we can't get up there, we will get you up as many high sunny peaks as we possibly can in the week and send you home having had the best time that we possibly can. Well, I hope that's cleared up a few things. We'll have a few more videos coming out in due course. Do please drop us a line if you've got any questions, and I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. All right. Right, it's a wrap.